Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to inform Parliament of our Digital Government Transformation Program, now referred to as Digital Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government, under the leadership of our Honourable Prime Minister, has made it a top priority to find the very best strategic development partners, be it from the public and or private sector, to further grow the Fijian economy. We are constantly searching around the globe for the best possible fit that will help us resolve any challenges that Fiji is faced with, and especially in the rapidly accelerated world of technological advancements. Mr. Speaker, sir, Nokia used to be the world leader in mobile phones, and we're proud of the applications which were regarded as advanced at that point in time. They did not change fast enough to adapt to the smartphone revolution and have lagged behind the more innovative suppliers such as Samsung and Apple. Even Sony now is reportedly already in the process of cutting 50% of the workforce in the smartphone division by 2020. Everyone, of course, knows about the story about Kodak. It no longer exists because they did not change at the time. That's why, Honourable Speaker, it's so important for Fiji to modernize our economy as efficiently as possible and on a strong foundation. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is exactly what digital government transformation is all about. We are not only about making government services more accessible and transparent, we're also making them more efficient and from the very top. However, we are driven by the fundamental philosophy that while the digital age can be hailed as the great equalizer, it can also be the greatest disequalizer if not everybody has equal access to it too. One such service is the access to digital television through Wailesi, whereby our people have access to information. And as mentioned yesterday, there is a dedicated parliamentary channel. We have made a ministerial statement in Wailesi last year, and we'll be making one separately in a later sitting to further update Parliament. Wailesi is also a platform, Mr. Speaker, sir, where we want to have ubiquitous applications. Mr. Speaker, the digital government transformation journey that we embarked on a number of years has shown exponential growth, and our processes are flexible to allow for the engagement of a number of new development partners. Mr. Speaker, this progress has not been short of challenges, and these demonstrate how massive the digital government transformation program is, and more importantly, how agile our processes are and how we have addressed these challenges. For instance, Mr. Speaker, for the Register of Titles and Deeds Office, we had to hire 60 additional project staff on the massive scanning exercise of all the leases, titles and deeds. Some of them actually date back to pre-colonial times. Some of them are the forms, the deeds are actually as big as this. So we had to actually have the colossal task of scanning all of these, and we did 24/7. And Mr. Speaker, sir, in fact, there were no scanners available in Fiji that could actually scan these size documents. So you had to bring in scanners from overseas and what they call book eye scanners. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we had to physically do these over a long period of time. The reality is that we have always been constantly in breach of the Act. If you look at the Act, previous governments, and of course we had to ensure that these titles are stored in fireproof areas. It never was. In fact, in 2007, when we moved into the Supervo house, the titles office used to be on the second floor. The second floor was actually sinking because of the weight of the paper. So much so we had to move the titles office to the ground floor of Civic Towers because it could not sink on the ground floor. So today, by the scanning of these documents, God forbid if there's a fire, we'll at least have preservation of all these titles and deeds. Mr. Speaker, in 2017, there would be greater cost if it all burned down. You never had any title to any of your lands. Mr. Speaker, so in 2017, the Fijian government partnered with the Singaporean government through the Singapore Corporation Enterprises, an agency which is an agency of the Singaporean government. The partnership, Mr. Speaker, was to build upon the foundation that we had set and to undertake an ambitious and sweeping 4-year digital government transformation initiative, now known as Digital Fiji. And it's no coincidence that when we were looking for a strategic partner to continue to bring Fiji forward digitally, we turned to Singapore, one of the most cutting-edge, innovative places in the world. Mr. Speaker, sir, Singapore is a nation that had already been faced with not only bringing its own government services online, but others all around the world. Fiji became the first project in the Pacific for them, another milestone that further cements our regional leadership. Mr. Speaker, sir, of this ongoing initiative, we are going to provide convenient 24/7 access to government services for all Fijians. That's already becoming a reality. On 14th of June last year, the Honourable Prime Minister launched the Digital Fiji and the following mobile phone apps, namely Directory at Gov and My Feedback. The Directorate.gov, or the Government Directorate, puts the up-to-date contact details of key government officials from the director level up to the ministers, including the personal assistants of these key government officials, government companies and entities and Fijian missions, all at the fingertips of our people. Since its launch, the Government Directory is receiving over 1,000 unique users a month, coming from over 30 countries around the world. This is becoming the primary source of obtaining up-to-date contact details across government. The My Feedback portal allows Fijians to communicate their feedback directly to the government and track its status while they await a response. Since the launch, the My Feedback application has received over 300 feedback reports, and of that, 70% have been resolved within a week, and with the majority of those remaining resolved within the next 14 days. Mr. Speaker, sir, these feedback are being tracked and traceable, making government ministries and agencies more accountable and thereby improving service delivery, and including very soon will be municipal councils. Mr. Speaker, sir, we urge more Fijians to utilize this mobile phone app. It's the best way to actually see an issue you're facing being resolved. In addition to the digital Fiji mobile phone app, this service is also web-based and can be accessed through a web browser. Mr. Speaker, sir, government has already demonstrated an unparalleled commitment to Fijian families. We're furthering that commitment through Digital Fiji. Next week, the Honourable Prime Minister will be launching a birth registration mobile phone app that will allow new mothers and hopefully fathers to initiate the birth registration process electronically from the hospital or at home as opposed to going to a BDM office. The details on the birth notification, which is normally given to the mother upon birth, will be automatically extracted from the hospital system. With this new system in place, parents can pre-book a time to collect the birth certificate. So the mother can, in the comfort of her bed, once the child is born, once she decides what name she'll give the baby, she can go onto the app, fill out all the details that she would normally fill out manually, and then submit it online through the phone, and make a time as to when she'll go and pick up the birth certificate. That's precisely what's going to happen, Mr. Speaker, sir. We will initially start off with CWM Hospital, and very soon will progressively be extended throughout Fiji. We will also, Mr. Speaker, sir, launch shortly an e-service for the request to reprint birth certificates. Again, a lot of people come during before school starts to pick up birth certificate. They can now put those requests in on their mobile phone app, and then they have a time, they simply go and collect, pay for it, and collect the birth certificate, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, we'll soon thereafter have what we call e-birth certificates, which you will have on your phones, which you simply tap at machines and they'll get the information on the birth certificates. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fijians are also able to create an e-profile on the Digital Fiji app, giving them direct access to the Fijian government's e-services. Users are issued a surname and password upon registration for an e-profile, so they can provide e-authentication of their identity each time they go and use a government service. Through this secured single sign-in, Fijians can access all current and future Digital Fiji services. The e-profile will also display personal information, tax lodgement history from the Fiji Revenue and Customs Services database. FNPF information will also be available on the e-profile. Mr. Speaker, sir, by August of this year, the Fijian government aims to have the e-payment component rolled out too. What this means is that Fijians will be able to pay for government services online instead of queuing up at government office for the service. People will only need to go to the government office to collect the documentation or instruments, so they don't have to go and queue there with the cashier, etc. So with the mothers who are going to send their birth certificate registration, they can pay online, they simply have to go and pick it up. Mr. Speaker, sir, new and emerging technologies are giving us the opportunity to review, streamline and optimize government processes. We can remove redundant, obsolete and non-value adding activities in our current processes. We are doing just that. The business process to re-engineer the Birth, Deaths and Marriage Registry and the Companies Registry, or commonly known as ROC, or Register of Companies, have been completed. The birth module within the BDM system is live, and this has enabled the development of the mobile phone application for birth registration, while the Deaths and Marriages module for the mobile phone app is scheduled to go live by the end of 2019. Mr. Speaker, sir, by June of this year, the ROC system will be online. What this means for our people is that they will be able to do 24/7 online company searches for companies that have been digitized and verified. Of course, the older ones will continue to get digitized and verified. This will be a progressive exercise, given that some of these instruments date as far back as pre-independence, some of these companies. We've also found that many of the companies before, for example, if you have registered a company and you open a bank account with a bank, the banks will normally send their clerks to go and verify whether XYZ is a director of the company. When clerks come or lawyers' firm comes in, they physically go and pick up the files, then they physically do the searches. Sometimes when people are a bit lazy, they don't want to photocopy, they rip out the originals and walk out with it. So we have to have an authentication process. The turnaround waiting time to receive documentation will be reduced by approximately half, and the accuracy of data and service quality will be dramatically improved. Mr. Speaker, sir, the work on the data harmonization for BDM and the Registrar of Companies had already started last year in December. By June this year, we'll begin work on the data exchange platform. What this means is the people data and establishment data for companies and businesses will be shared across government agencies with security guaranteed by strict access protections. Mr. Speaker, the data exchange platform will give us a common central source of data sharing, ensuring the consistency and accuracy of the data. No more operating in silos, no more decentralized mayhem, but one reliable, consistent and accurate source of information across the government. So Minister for Health, Minister for Natural Disaster Management, Minister for Education, Local Government, Minister for Women, they can all have access to the same data without actually having to establish their own databases. And more importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, Fijians will no longer need to constantly fill in the same common details in every application that they make to a government agency. And this will now feed into what I wanted to mention about a national ID card. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government has commenced the business process re-engineering of the Registrar of Titles and Deeds Office in January of this year, and we expect this to be completed by June of this year. Upon completion, within 2 years, Fijians will be able to do 24/7 online searches for leases, titles and deeds. They'll also include lodgement and any other transactions regarding land instruments. The turnaround waiting time to receive documentation will be reduced by approximately half the time, and the accuracy of data and service quality will be dramatically improved. Our partnership with the Singapore Economic Corporation doesn't stop there. We're also undertaking a systematic approach to improve the ease of doing business in Fiji. A growing economy means growing opportunities to start a business or expand a business in Fiji and throughout the region. We want to make that process as easy as possible for our people, and we're leveraging new technology to make that happen. We are reviewing the process to obtain construction permit approvals with an expected improvement in efficiency of 25% immediately, decreasing the number of required forms from 27 down to 9. At the moment, you have to fill out about 27 different forms, cutting turnaround time by over 40 days just by implementing the redesigned processes. Mr. Speaker, sir, by next year, we expect to complete the integrated construction permits online approval system, which will provide an efficient one-stop shop for all construction applications and approvals. For budding entrepreneurs looking to start a business, we're dramatically improving the efficiency of what was once, let's be honest, a painful process. By using technology to improve communication across agencies, whether it's National Fire Authority, OHS, the municipal councils, we expect to immediately improve performance by more than 40%, cutting the current 45 days of turnaround to just 18.5 days. We expect turnaround time to decrease even further following the implementation of the integrated online system for starting a business. Mr. Speaker, sir, by June this year, we will be launching an online information portal that will be a one-stop portal for builders and developers to obtain all the information and forms required when applying for construction permits. The portal will also provide all the relevant information for starting a business. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government is also in discussions with the Singaporean Corporation Enterprise to conduct a study and implementation of the Fijian National ID card. The Fijian National ID initiative will establish an authoritative identity scheme. Mr. Speaker, under this initiative, the Fijian National ID card holder will be assigned a unique number combined with the use of biometrics. This will ensure that every ID card issued is unique to every individual. Mr. Speaker, sir, today there are various number references attached to one citizen, such as your birth registration number, your Fiji Revenue and Customs Services number, a health card number, a FNPF number, your driving license number, and some of these numbers are as long as 9 digits. Under this initiative, our people will have only have to remember one ID number. This will remove the hassle of having to remember or fill various ID numbers in different applications. With a single ID card, Mr. Speaker, there would be an effective mechanism to prevent identity fraud, which is becoming a big issue, not just in Fiji, but many countries, in particular to do with money laundering, etc. Mr. Speaker, sir, in reviewing our systems, we have discovered incidents whereby one person had two different IDs. For example, with one name, one saying Tevita, one with one eye, one with two eyes. One person had siblings who had spelling variations of one or both of their parents in the birth certificate. Under the National ID Initiative, we will cleanse the data and improve the quality of our data. Mr. Speaker, sir, by way of reference, in 2014, our birth system statistics showed that more than 25,000 people did not have birth certificates. These are full-grown adults. As a result of this, there was an amnesty drive carried out by the Ministry of Justice to register those whose births had not been registered. It was found that Fijians as old as 86 years old had been living their entire lives without a birth certificate. The national ID card will go through a process of data validation which will help improve and bring accuracy of people data. Combined with biometrics information captured at the point of registration, it will ensure the quality of the data as a single source of truth for citizens is maintained. The national ID card collated in the future, Mr. Speaker, sir, government will be able to generate national population and social statistics for long-term planning and policy formulation that will create efficiency and reduce the need to do costly census exercises to a minimum. Mr. Speaker, sir, the private sector, such as banks, would be able to use the national ID for the purpose of KYC, or Know Your Customer, thereby making business processes easier and trustworthy. Having a national ID with a unique number will allow for a unified identification of citizens across all government offices, without each ministry or agency having to create their own ID systems. This will eliminate duplication and reduce unnecessary costs, both administrative and financial. Today, Mr. Speaker, sir, key ministries and national organizations, such as the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, FNPF, FRCS, have their own ID systems, and there is a need to iron out discrepancies which are ongoing, time-consuming, and indeed costly. Mr. Speaker, sir, we see this initiative as a continued determination to build trust in our economy, a necessary step to be part of the global and digital economy. Mr. Speaker, with all these developments taking place, we must realize that this digital government transformation journey started a few years ago with Yalaman Chile Solutions Pte. Limited, who have undertaken the digitization work in a few ministries. In fact, one of the first digitization efforts we undertook was in 2014, with partnership with Yalaman Chile to digitize the Voloni Kawambula register. Mr. Speaker, as of 28th February this year, over 12,000 Itokotoka and more than 640,000 members have had their manual records converted and digitized with the GIS mapping. By putting this information in a computer database, we're preserving the critical information for all time. We're bringing greater efficiency to the equal distribution of land lease monies, another hallmark achievement of this government. How much money are we talking about? Well, for the period from 25th of February 2015 to the end of February this year, we have distributed nearly $200 million in lease monies to our landowners. Another key project under Yalaman Chile Solutions Pte. Limited is a social welfare application through which there has been a digital implementation of the social pension and care and benefit schemes by the Department of Social Welfare. Through this software, the details of the beneficiaries of these schemes are digitally recorded. Mr. Speaker, as of February this year, details of a total of 3,216 beneficiaries have been digitized through this software. Mr. Speaker, in the area of ICT, hardware and software procurement, the Yalaman Chile team has also introduced the e-tender portal known as TenderLink, which provides a secure, transparent, efficient and effective tool for both the suppliers and government, whereby the tender or request for quote is advertised through the portal and proposals or bids are securely uploaded and downloaded at the closing date, and time of uploading a proposal or bid is also accounted for. This tender portal is now being used in the Fiji Procurement Office for all non-ICT procurement as well. Mr. Speaker, the technical expertise provided by the Yalaman Chile team has resulted in massive government savings to the tune of $9.5 million from 2013 to December 2018 from the negotiations held with suppliers. Mr. Speaker, prior to this partnership, the ICT department would actually purchase end-of-life hardware and software at exorbitant prices. This was because of the caliber of people there at that time. Mr. Speaker, as a result of our partnership with Yalaman Chile, ICT hardware and software purchased by government are of IT internationally accepted standards, and the warranty periods are for a longer period from 1 year now previously to now 3 to 5 years or longer, depending on ICT software hardware. As mentioned earlier, we're now partnering with the Singaporean government through the Singaporean Corporation Enterprise, and there are a number of areas where the Singaporeans have a greater advantage in implementation than others, including Yalaman Chile. Mr. Speaker, under this partnership with the Singaporean government, we are also building capacity not only in government, but in our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have now new internship opportunities to work with the Singapore Corporation Enterprise on the Digital Fiji program. Mr. Speaker, this will give young Fijians interested in ICT, studying ICT course at universities, direct access to the extremely competitive IT team from Singapore. Currently, there are three. Oh, is that it? Is that it? Oh, okay. Sorry, I want to mention.
Order.
Sorry, is that the first bell or second bell? Oh, sorry. Oh, it's a pity. I want to tell you about LexisNexis, which you need to have access to.
You have the floor.
Oh, sorry, I can continue, Mr. Speaker, sir? Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I was saying, currently there are 3 students from USP, and we'll also be shortly having students from FNU. In fact, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow we'll be advertising expressions of interest for young people to be part of the internship program, and we encourage our young people to be part of this exciting journey. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to computer-based legal research, the Fijian government partnered with LexisNexis. Mr. Speaker, members of this House will remember back in 2016, when partnered with LexisNexis, we unveiled the Consolidated Laws of Fiji. The first time we'd undertaken consolidations of laws since 1985, Mr. Speaker, sir. The hard copy is there on your shelf next to you, and the Leader of Opposition also was given a copy. Last Friday, Mr. Speaker, sir, we built on that achievement, and in partnership with LexisNexis, we launched a new website that puts the Consolidated Laws of Fiji online and free for the first time ever. Yeah. We digitized every page of every volume of the Consolidated Laws of Fiji, which can now be accessed on this new website, and which will be consolidated quarterly, and every new legislation in between will be available online immediately. I urge the members of the opposition to use this source, as they appear to be getting the law wrong all the time and even applying outdated laws in their questions. What this does is provide an easy-to-use one-stop online resource that allows anyone, anywhere, to read and access the laws of our country. This is available on www.laws.gov.fj. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we move forward in the months and years ahead, Mr. Speaker, the needs of our nation will undoubtedly evolve. And naturally, the strategic partners that we choose will morph and develop alongside our economy. Further, we will build capacity here at home in Fiji, and that's the reason we've invested in such extensive resources for funding scholarships and training for high-need industries, so as many Fijians possible feel these new and modern careers in trading. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, we'll constantly be re-evaluating the partners we work with to ensure the needs of our nation are met in the most efficient and effective way possible, and that the needs of tomorrow are today filled with the most suitable partner. Across our economy, the partnerships that we have forged have been pivotal to bring our economy to its position of unprecedented economic strength and stability where we stand now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you for allowing me to complete my speech. Thank you.